Hey, it's Todd. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all of that stuff. Okay. Now, like I said, I've been doing videos about women in China, but it's like I keep saying, some things are just universal. It doesn't matter the culture, the nationality, or the country. I'm 60 years old, and back in the 80s, I remember women saying that they were married themselves. Women back then were saying that they could not find a good man, so the same stuff they're saying today. This was 40 years ago. Plus, as single mixers back then and matchmaking events back then, like today, men were showing up. There's some things that were taking place back then in the 80s are taking place today, and also not only in the United States but also in China. It doesn't matter if it was 100 or 1,000 years ago. Some things never change. All right. Here are the videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and all that stuff.
Recently, an awkward event took place in Hangzhou. I'm sure everyone has heard about it by now. At a grand matchmaking event with over 1,000 people, not a single man showed up. The organizers of the event also implemented a relatively unfair policy. Women could participate for free, while men had to pay double the fee. As a result, more than 500 women, adhering to the principle of better to be single than settle, still made high demands on men, refreshing everyone's perception. Nowadays, fully paying for a house and car has become the minimum standard for matchmaking, but what's surprising is that thousands of older single women have ended up being completely ignored. What exactly has caused this situation? Why are more and more men choosing to remain single rather than get married? Let's take a look at the fascinating story of Hangzhou's matchmaking event with no male participants. Watching this matchmaking event makes us truly understand what is meant by silent resistance. This event in Hangzhou, which was supposed to be eagerly anticipated by both men and women, unexpectedly turned into a modern version of a women's kingdom. On the day of the event, more than 500 women waited expectantly, but not a single man came, making the scene incredibly awkward. Does this mean that when it comes to matchmaking, men have completely given up and are indifferent to marriage? In fact, today's standards for choosing a partner have quietly changed. Many older single women still refuse to face reality, instead clinging to outdated mindsets, fixated on pursuing high standards for men. At the same time, the conflict between women's rights and financial power has also become a hot issue in today's society. Some men who had considered attending the event revealed that the fees for men were much higher than for women, set at 800 yuan and 1,000 yuan, while women could attend for free. Considering how hard it is to earn money these days, many men felt that the organizers' approach was quite off-putting. Reality has already proven that the prime time for these older single women has long passed, and they are no longer in demand. Young men without financial means simply cannot afford the high costs of matchmaking, while those with decent financial conditions have no need to attend such events, and certainly don't want to face women with overly arrogant attitudes and excessively harsh requirements. At this point, many women are still clinging to the fantasy of finding a tall, rich, and handsome man, only willing to choose men from wealthy families, while they won't even glance at men of more ordinary means. This vicious cycle has led to the awkward situation at the Hangzhou matchmaking event. Over 500 women were present, but not a single man was willing to participate. Just imagine how awkward that scene must have been. The mindset of modern young people toward marriage has indeed undergone significant changes. Many men have faced repeated setbacks in the pursuit of love and marriage, feeling crushed under the weight of exorbitant bride prices. Some women have even made overly demanding requests, such as requiring the man to fully purchase a house and a car. Under this kind of pressure, many men have chosen to lie flat and no longer actively seek marriage partners. Even those men with good family backgrounds are now cautious about marriage, and some even demand that women undergo premarital health checks to avoid losing large sums of money, along with the house and car. Nowadays, the entire matchmaking market has undergone dramatic changes. Men are no longer willing to be suckers, and the deserted atmosphere at offline matchmaking events is a true reflection of this phenomenon. What do you think about the awkward scene of this 1,000-person offline matchmaking event where no one showed up?
Went to a single mixer and only women showed up.
朋友邀请。
I really feel a bit helpless. Yesterday, a friend of mine invited me to attend a singles event that he organized. They had invited many people in advance, but in the end, very few men showed up, and most of the participants were older single women with decent jobs. My friend has been in this field for many years and always wants me to participate in his events because they organize similar events every year, whether high-end or low-end, often in cooperation with guilds or companies. But unfortunately, the success rate has never been high. I went to check out the scene. As soon as I arrived, I saw a group of women. They all had a good demeanor, mostly older single women, but there were hardly any men. The few men who did show up were mostly those repeatedly invited by phone. After taking a look, I felt the quality of the event was indeed not high, so I left. As I was leaving, I happened to see two men leaving as well, and I asked them why they were leaving so quickly. I asked them, "There are so many girls here, don't any of them catch your eye?" One of the men replied that they came with a mindset of just giving it a try. For this kind of low-end event, everyone is just going through the motions, knowing the success rate is not high. I continued chatting with them and told them that many of the women on site were actually quite good, with good family backgrounds and jobs. I asked why they were still unwilling to choose these women. They candidly admitted that it's not that older women are unacceptable. Women with the right values are still worth considering. But they felt that age is not the biggest obstacle. The key is that many men think about future family planning, especially the issue of having children. If a woman is already 34 or 35 years old and still wants to have 2 children, there might be fertility challenges. The main issue is that these older women often have very high expectations of men, from housing, cars, education, height, to family upbringing. These requirements are quite high, and many men don't have enough advantages to meet these conditions. So they hesitate and don't want to choose these older single women who, despite their good conditions, come with such high demands. One of the men also said that many women over 30 are very experienced and capable at work. But because of that, their expectations for men have also increased significantly. They want men not only to have high incomes but also to match them in every aspect. For example, if a woman earns 200,000 or 300,000 yuan a year, she might expect the man to earn at least double that. On top of that, men also need to provide more in terms of material and emotional support. So, men like us really feel we can't afford to marry such women. We feel that the emotional balance in the relationship would be very weak. As a result, they would rather choose someone younger, with lower expectations. Even though a younger woman may not be as capable, she tends to have a gentler personality and isn't as demanding financially. This explains very well why, at offline matchmaking events like this, many men leave after just a glance. It's not that they are picky about the women's age, but rather the additional conditions and expectations these older single women come with that make them feel overwhelmed. Therefore, even if men show up, they quickly leave. This is the reality.
Yo, it's that bad out here, bro. And these women are having retreats in wedding gowns, praying for a husband. Y'all done rented out a venue and everything, man. Like, what the hell? And they got a photographer there and everything. I can't.